Welcome to the Astrology in the Bible series. In this episode, we're going to be covering seasons, signs, and planets. This will be the foundation from which all other zodiacal knowledge going forward will be built upon. Because just like you got to learn letters before you can spell words, you got to learn this knowledge right here, the zodiacal knowledge that underpins the stories of the Bible. Now, we'll be explaining things from a geocentric point of view, meaning we don't care about flat Earth versus the globe. We're explaining celestial phenomenon as it relates to our perspective standing on Earth. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, here's the Earth and the four cardinal directions, as well as the Tropic of Cancer, the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn. Now we got to attach these four cardinal directions to these three lines of latitude. Because in this video, we have to do some language building. And just like you have to learn basic math before calculus, you got to learn how to spell before you can write a sentence. So with this video right here, we're just going to be building out a language. This has nothing to do with reading charts, by the way. Even though we are covering astrology, I just want you to have this in your mind that we're language building. We're understanding the foundational building blocks of a language. Now, every day the sun is rising in the east and it's setting in the west every single day. And we're either on a path of increasing light or decreasing light. In other words, the day is either getting shorter or it's getting longer. And we reach our longest day of the year and shortest day of the year every single year. And the northernmost point where the sun can be seen directly overhead is along the Tropic of Cancer. And the southernmost point where the sun can be seen directly overhead is the Tropic of Capricorn. So every day that we experience is between those two extremities. Cancer is associated with the north, and Capricorn is associated with the south, which leaves the west and the east, both of which are associated with the equator. Now, this little circle in the middle here, these lines here in the middle are a metaphor. They're not real lines. There's nothing really happening like that. It's that these are metaphors for increasing and decreasing light every day. So if we're starting from the Tropic of Cancer, going from east to west, 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 east to west. And it's going to continue on until that sun's path is going to touch the Tropic of Capricorn. And the opposite is true. Once it touches there, it's going to reverse directions, and the sun is going to be going from east to west, 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 until it reaches the Tropic of Cancer. So Cancer is associated with the north, as well as the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. And Capricorn is associated with the south and the longest night of the year, or the shortest day of the year, however you want to put it. And every other day that we experience on this planet is happening between those two extremities. Now, the west and the east are a little bit tricky. Now, when we go from Cancer to Capricorn, when we go in this direction, we cross the equator. And when we do that, we associate that with the west, because the sun sets in the west, and the sunset is to the day as the fall is to the year. So they're different levels of the same thing, so to speak. They're both the western direction and represent the path of decreasing light. Now, the opposite is true when we're going from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer. We're going to cross the equator once again. So when we touch the equator, when the sun is seen directly overhead going and touching along the equator, and the days are getting longer, since the sun rises in the morning every day, And the morning is to the day as spring is to the year. That's why the spring or the vernal equinox is associated with the east. So the Tropic of Cancer, the north, and the summer solstice are connected. The Tropic of Capricorn, the south, and the winter solstice are connected. The equator and the west and the autumn equinox are connected. And the equator and the east and the spring equinox or the vernal equinox are connected. And again, everything is happening between the two extremities of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So, this brings us to another metaphor, I guess you could call it. This symbol in the middle that I put here, this 4-piece pie in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, are none other than the seasonal, these are the seasonal quadrants, if you will. Okay? And this is a metaphor of how the seasons are attached in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So going to our next slide, we're going to zoom in to that circle that you've seen between those tropics. Now we got this Tropic of Cancer up here, got the Tropic of Capricorn down here, and we've simply abbreviated the light and the dark half that we've seen in the previous slide. And something that I failed to mention in the previous slide is that spring and summer are attached to the light side of the earth, while autumn and winter are attached to the dark side of the earth. So that's an important point to make and something to remember. But this right here in the middle, we've abbreviated that. And here we've got the seasons reflecting how they're attached to the light and the dark half. But when we go from the Tropic of Cancer on down, or from the summer solstice on down to the fall equinox, that's the summer. When we go from the fall equinox down to the winter solstice, that portion is fall. When we go from the winter solstice up to the first day of spring, that portion is winter. And then finally, when we go from the vernal equinox onto the summer solstice, that is the summer, or excuse me, the spring. So that brings us to our next slide. The seasons are divided into 3 pieces. And those 3 pieces are how the tropical signs of the zodiac connect and insert inside of the seasons, so to speak. So tropical astrology, what we know in the West most of the time, you know, if you read your sun sign and all that, again, this isn't about astrology, this is about language building. Tropical astrology is based upon the seasons and not really the signs in the sky. 0 degrees Cancer happens when the sun can be seen directly overhead along the Tropic of Cancer. 0 degrees Capricorn in the tropical system happens when the sun can be seen directly overhead along the Tropic of Capricorn. And all the other signs in between are situated relative to those 2 points, to those 2 extremities, the longest day and the shortest day of the year. And which brings us to the next slide. Each of these seasons divided into 3 pieces, and how the signs fit into these seasons and form these different sections of the seasons is why we have cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs. Cardinal, fixed, and mutable signs, well, are all about the beginning, the middle, and the end of the season. Cardinal signs are special in the sense that they represent and mark the true northeast southwest. I'm just circling these signs. We got Aries, we got Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. The 0 degree point of each of those signs attaches to the solstices and the equinoxes in the tropical system. And they represent new beginnings. Now, this cross, I'll just do a line this time instead of circling them. These are the fixed signs. Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. They're the middle of each season. And that's why fixed signs are said to be more stubborn, even though we're not talking about astrology here. We're not talking about reading charts. We're talking about associations and overall language building that we're doing here. And these signs are said to be the stabilizer signs because they're the middle of the season when each of the seasons have really settled in. And then finally, we have the mutable signs. And the mutable signs are Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. Mutable signs are said to be more adaptable, more flexible, and the reason why is because they represent transitions. When you're going from one season to the next, when you're ending one season in preparation for the next, that's why those are mutable signs. But anyway, if you're finding value in this video so far, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon to be notified when I come out with new videos on occult and mystical topics. And there should be a link below this video where you can access not only the videos I have available on YouTube, but exclusive member-only content, including and not limited to more astrology in the Bible videos like this one. If you got any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and enjoy the rest of this video. Real Aries does not begin at the vernal equinox. Get my stylus out here again. Even though the tropical system will say on the vernal equinox, on the spring equinox, that's also the 0 degrees Aries. Really, we're still in Pisces. There's a difference between the seasons and the signs. The signs are based upon the fixed stars in the sky, while the seasons, or while the tropical system is based on the seasons. Sidereal is the fixed stars, tropical is the seasons. Signs are not seasons nor season signs, but each sign, each planet in astrology has many different associations. Very simple. It's no different than anything else with the seasons. All the signs have their seasonal correspondences. It's really that simple. Now, the sidereal zodiac is moving away from the tropical seasonal stations about 1 degree every 72 years. So it'll continue to move away, and it'll actually come back around. And then both zodiacs will line up again. And this happens about once every 25,900 to 20 years. Some say like 24,000 years. Some say the degree of differentiation speeds up and slows down in different parts of the cycle. And that it's not all uniform. So there's many different theories, but for the sake of this video, that doesn't matter. We're just language building and showing how the tropical signs are connected to the seasons and how the seasons are associated with the signs, but not exactly the signs themselves. Okay? So 0 degrees Aries really begins right here when we're almost in Taurus. And this will continue to shift away from the seasons. And then once it gets about right here, oops, I didn't mean to do that. Well, yeah, this right here. Once the sidereal system shifts to here, it's going to come right back and actually come closer and closer and closer back to the seasonal stations once again. Okay? But I just wanted to emphasize that, look, this mystery school ain't really about reading charts or anything like that. Again, this is about language building. But I thought that this was probably something we needed to go over so there wouldn't be any confusion. Matter of fact, you got to have both systems to compare against each other to know where you're at in the great year, in the Platonic year, that 25,920 year cycle I was talking about. It's measuring the fixed stars against the seasonal stations that we are able to determine what age you're in. So it's not about this versus that. It's about how they're connected, and it's bigger than reading charts. So we'll go to the next slide here. And in this picture, I've simply abbreviated the seasons, and I've put them into a rung here in the middle, right? You still have the cardinal fixed mutable. You can see how the signs are attached to the seasons, but we got to plug in some other things before we conclude this video. And this was a necessary process so we could get to the next step and go over original sin and the gate of men and the gate of the gods. And then the final video being the astronomical fall of man. But anywho, we've also put another rung around the signs, and you see some symbols there. These are the planetary lordships of each of the signs. Cancer is ruled by the moon. Leo is ruled by the sun. Gemini and Virgo are ruled by Mercury. Taurus and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars. Pisces and Sagittarius are ruled by Jupiter. Aquarius and Capricorn are ruled by Saturn. You can just look at the glyph and see how they match. Very simple. Same glyph, same planet. So, something you probably want to memorize, even if you don't understand it. We'll get a lot more into this later. There's a reason why these planets rule these signs, and there's a way deeper thing going on here than your typical astrology stuff that you'll find online or in a book. So the last thing that we want to plug in before we conclude this video is the elements. Okay, we got blue, red, green, and gray. All like element signs are the same color, and they're trine from each other. Okay, so Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are water. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries are fire. Virgo, Capricorn, and Taurus are earth. And Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini are air signs. Very important. And one last thing that I forgot to cover is the fact that I've written the signs in either white or black on purpose. And the reason why is because all of the signs are either feminine or masculine. All of the masculine signs, which are also the fire and air signs, are all written in white. All of the feminine signs, which are also all of the water and earth signs, are written in black. Now it's time to get into the good stuff. Watch this video right here.